In today's video, I got to explore the city of Budapest, Hungary a bit, and I kind of started my tour. I was supposed to do a street art walk tour in the morning, and I kind of showed up late, but I was able to reschedule in the afternoon, which worked out perfectly. So I decided to go to the Basilica of St. Stephen's, and I went into that cathedral there, and it was pretty extraordinary, so I got to see that. Then after that, I went to the top of Castle Hill, where there's like fortifications up there, and there's a statue of St. Stephen's, and then I got to see the outside of Our Lady of Buddha, the church, which has a really interesting roof tile on top. I got to ride around the city buses and trams a lot, so I got to see these beautiful views that you're looking at now, which is really cool. And finally, I got to do the street art walk tour, which ended up being really cool. I got to learn a lot about like both the history and contemporary times of like the politics, the culture of both Budapest and Hungary together through like the different art that's just like available to people on the street. So you'll get to see stuff like a lot of people normally don't get to see unless they go out of their way. So I really hope you get to enjoy the tour, and yeah, really appreciate if you like, share, and subscribe. It means a lot to me. Cool. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your all support. All right, so today I'm doing an art walk tour, so I'm kind of curious, kind of mix up my tours a little bit instead of being so grim. Kind of wants a topic with a little bit more levity, I guess. So hopefully this brings out a little bit of lightness. Today is pretty bright, so maybe it'll match with the day. Okay, so I'm running short on time, so I have to spar, so I'm gonna try to get a couple of donuts and a coffee here. It's got like this little tiny, like this little square pizza thing. It kind of tasted like something I had when I was a kid at school. Like those like little square pizzas. If you ever have nostalgia for those, they sell them at the Spar for $1.35 USD, about 400 foreign. So yeah, if you ever have nostalgia for those little pizzas at school, you actually like, they're good and they're bad. I don't know. It's hard to describe it. If you've ever had a public school pizza from like the 90s, early 2000s, that has a definitely distinct taste to it, from New Mexico at least. Yeah, I love the trams in the city. It looks so cool. They're like old school looking. All right, here is my tram. Places are pretty hot. All right, I just got on from that stop there. A little bumpy. Underground with the metro. That's pretty cool, like intermodal connection. It really drops you off like right at the level you need to be at. And now we're taking off. Yeah, I'm gonna take it at the other side later because it has the Danube's on the other side. It looks really cool. I didn't get a seat there though. tram took a little bit longer than expected. I'm running not late yet, but I'm right on the line, so I better make a quick dash. All right, so my tour is down there, so that's pretty incredible view on this street. It's like, oh my God, so cool. Yeah, this cathedral is pretty incredible. Definitely gonna have to take a look later on. So I actually got on the wrong tour. I missed our person that we're supposed to meet up with, I guess. I don't know. Kind of sucks. So maybe I'll meet up next time. I'm not sure. Oh man, this church is... So I was able to be scheduled at 4. I don't know. There was another tour I was on. I just can't do like another general history tour of everything. But it's kind of learned of... I just overheard them talking about the foundation of like the country of Hungary. How the Hungarian people are from... are not actually European. They're Asiatic people from the Ural Mountains originally, and they came here in the year 896, and this cathedral is named after their first leader, Stephen, so St. Stephen's Cathedral here. And yeah, it's kind of interesting to find out there's like 7 different groups of people that came together and they established Hungary right here in this place. All right, so I'm in the courtyard of St. Stephen's Cathedral here, and I'm gonna enter the cathedral here from the side. You can buy tickets to go to the top of it if you want. Oh, I think you have to get tickets to come in here. All right, so if you're coming to St. Stephen's, be sure to buy your ticket here in this little building to the side first, and then you can go in. It's like about $8 US, I think, 2,600. I don't know. It's hard doing the math. Probably $8.50, maybe $9 tops. But we'll check it out now. All right, back again. All right, let's go inside. So we're at St. Stephen's. And it took him multiple tries to build this thing. Tour guide is saying that it kind of collapsed a few times due to some mathematical errors. I get a guide to take home with me, find out a little bit more about it. Wow. Look at that already, I can just tell it's like incredible. Wow. Look at that. Last view. Wow, that was pretty cool. I think the organ really set the tone of the place, you know. It's really interesting. Beautiful place though. Definitely would recommend if you're in Budapest. Alright, so now we head up to Budapest Castle. So check that out. Across the Danube here. Like all the public transit here is kind of bumpy. I don't know. Budapest Castle. I just took the public bus up here, which is pretty convenient actually. So I'm gonna check it out now, get a good view of the city. Alright, here we go. That's so cool. Alright, so here's like the first level view of the city. It's pretty incredible. There's St. Stephen's over there. I believe that building, the big one there, is the Parliament building, if I'm correct. Because they were saying, the tour guide before I left, that this one was the only building that could be taller than St. Stephen's. Nothing could be taller than that on the Pest side, or on the Buda side with the fortress. So Budapest is actually two cities, Buda and Pest put together. Pest is on the east side of the bank and Buda is on the west side. And Buda is a little bit more hilly. Alright, we're here in the castle. Top of the castle here. I mean, this place is extremely strategic. During World War II, whenever the Soviets were doing a counterattack to retake Eastern Europe from the Nazis, Budapest became basically a battleground when their own fascist government kind of gave up on the war. And then the Nazis basically used this place as like a fortress just to pin down the Soviets for months on end. Because strategic location here on these hills. This is the Church of Our Lady of Buda. Man, just look at the roof on that. Like, the tiles are so cool. The building is just like so extraordinary. I'm kind of curious what that building is. I'm here in a park, so it's like, it seems like they charge just to go up on the ramparts. I'm like, I don't know if it's really worth it. And ABBA is like the most popular like European band ever, I think. Yeah, this place is pretty cool. It's kind of a bummer that they charge just to go see like different like little vistas and stuff like that. That's not cool. I don't know. But here's my bus, I think. So the short bus is only for like the castle area, so I need to get the next one in like a couple minutes. Alright, so my bus here, it's also a short bus too. Alright, so I gotta ride this little bus, 7 stops. Luckily I have a pretty good was incredible, honestly. Like, just look at the cities. Like, I'm gonna barely scratch the surface. Even that, you know. Basically taking like a little glimpse of this place. A giant structure there is Buda Castle, and if you look to the right there, zooming in a bit, it's a funicular that'll take you from the bottom to the top there. So it's supposed to be a cool little ride up there, but I'm not exploring that today. Kind of spent a little bit, you know. I missed my first tour because I'm tired, and I'm gonna try to get on the same tour later on this afternoon. So kind of rough, you know. I think the trip's kind of catching up with me. All right, here's my tram. Number 23. So fun. I love these things. Oh, I wish I could get a tram. Oh, I got push button. Again. There we go. All right, there's my tram. Man, those things are so cool. I love trams. Such good technology. All right, I'm doing round 2 for my tour. See if I could actually make it on time this time, because I feel bad for missing it the first time. So I rebooked it 4 o'clock today, so hopefully it all works out. It is boiling hot out here. I'm just like, part of me that just wants to go take a nap, siesta. Here we go again. It is so good. Got like 10 minutes to make it to my thing, so hopefully you'll do it. So I actually made it onto my tour on time, so I started now. I had to walk about like 8 minutes. So this is the start of the Jewish ghetto here in Budapest, and all over this place they put stickers of the victims of October 7th, the attack on the Israeli like festival and just the country itself that day, that horrible day.
Now, which is Austrian-Hungary Empire. So not just the Hungarian people, Austrian people obsessed with the Princess Sisi too. But we don't know whose side is loves much more. Right now in the Hungary, there's the Elizabeth Bridge, Elizabeth Castle, Elizabeth Town. Even in the school, February 6th, there's a Sisi Day. Kids are dressed up like a Sisi. Right now it's 3:50. He did just a month. He didn't do anything.
So right now we're in the old Jewish ghetto part of Budapest, and we're just kind of checking out different parts of the art, like learning about current like life here in Hungary. Oh, we're going the wrong way. So I guess this building houses like a generator to provide power for the city. I don't know whether it's like an emergency one or it's like going right now. It's kind of strange. So this monument's dedicated to a person who's recognized by the Jewish people in Israel, Karl Lutz Spachi, and he's basically like Hungary's version of Oskar Schindler. They had a huge Jewish community here in Budapest before the war, and they were devastated by World War II and the Holocaust. And the individual was able to save thousands of people by providing them fake documents and through like a smuggling network. So that was painted by the Neo Paint Group with the funds from the UNHCR, and it's a Syrian refugee child, but it's meant to be in the style of the famous National Geographic photo from the 1980s, the Afghan girl with green eyes. But it's here in the middle. This is now, the government made like the old Jewish quarters the party district, so as you see, there's like clubs and parties everywhere, like places to drink and stuff. So this used to be like a bustling alleyway where there used to be like like Jewish business people used to operate here. Kind of crazy. Right, so this top one, this place is trying to promote people to eat more vegetarian place, and the government's actually getting in on it too. So this cow is a local cow to Hungary. And down below is a sign for Palinka. So this place offers local bars, but it's kind of demonstrating how you look after stages of drinking it. So you go from bad to worse, essentially. So this is an anti-drug ad, actually. It's a colorful mural, but it's actually promoting people not to take drugs. So interesting way to go about it. I got like a run.
In Europe, it was affordable too. This is their headquarters. It's a shoemaker's dream, it says, since 1905. So they renovated, they're keeping as the original. That's why it's looking beautiful and unique. If you're wondering what is this building. Right now, Skechers New Balance is very famous, right? Back then in Europe, Budapest was so famous. I mean, probably. Beautiful relationship. In 2014, painted by the Neopaint. Client is here, Poland Embassy. It's supposed to be just a regular tree, but as a modern touch, they are put a lot of triangle inside of it, and it became with 3D too. Basically, we start calling this tree at the same time crystal tree. This is the name. Left and right side, there is a lot of Polish and Hungarian words. Once they are stand together, message is so clear. They are growing as a beautiful tree with two roots. Right now, there is no such a thing. They hate each other. It's like a memorial.
So all these bullet holes are actually from the '56 uprising. So the local youth are trying to overthrow the government here in Hungary, like the communist government that was allied with the Soviet Union. They tried to overthrow it, and it did not work because the Soviets sent tanks in and squashed the revolution here.
Otherwise, everyone's gonna think, I mean, not everyone, but uneducated people.
I guess the government of Orban posted this over like the old, they used to have a mural of like the Hungarian freedom fighters from '56, '57, and they put this to cover that up, the historical memory of it, I guess, and just put up a picture of a couple scientists who built, who helped work on the COVID vaccine, which is fine. It's like kind of like a neutral thing, but they just use it to cover up like anti-government, I guess, I suppose, like history propaganda. All right, so we just left the ghetto area. You saw before the line, I didn't mention that I was talking about something else at the time. And now we're moving on to another site. All right, so that's the end of my tour here at the Alice in Wonderland mural. We're headed out of here, so headed back to the hostel. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, so I had my tour today. I got to see Church of St. Stephen's, the Basilica there. And then after that, I got to check out the Buddha Fortress complex. I kind of wandered around on like public transit today. I took a couple buses, I took the trams, got to see a little bit of the city that way. And then finally I was actually able to catch my tour that I missed the second time around. So luckily they did 2 tours during the day, and they had a morning one and an afternoon one. But the afternoon was good. I got to learn a lot about like modern Hungarian history, actually, or modern Hungary, and about like the local culture here in Budapest, and I guess the country itself too. Got to learn a little bit about that. But it's interesting just seeing all the different pieces of street art that's available to everybody, you know, that knows about it. So I guess you get to see a little bit of Budapest that I guess normal tours don't cover. So I hope you enjoy the street art as much as I did, and yeah, I just really appreciate to know that people are actually watching these videos, and it really means a lot to me that people are starting to subscribe and share it. The channel's starting to do pretty good. So I just started with 2 people and just spreading person by person, so it's cool. But if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I'd appreciate it, and thank you. Bye.